Member for Hamilton Mountain.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is my honor to rise today to speak to M-69, a motion brought forward by the member of Hamilton East Stony Creek, which deals with a very important issue surrounding water quality. Let me start by saying that the NDP supports this initiative, which is aimed at ensuring Canadians have access to high-quality drinking water at all times, regardless of where they live or the economic status. It is also important to understand that this motion calls on the Standing Committee on Transport, Infrastructure and Communities to undertake a study of the federal government's role in updating lead components in water systems. There is a growing concern about the contamination of drinking water in private residences and schools due to lead water pipes and connecting lines. Mr. Speaker, the NDP takes the health risk posed by lead contamination of drinking water very seriously. The recent crisis in Flint, Michigan, as well as some other similar examples here in Canada, has reminded us all this is a very serious public health issue. We cannot wait before taking the next necessary action. The government must be proactive on this file. It really is high time the government undertake a dialogue with municipalities, provinces, territories, and First Nations to work toward developing a national strategy for ensuring that all Canadians have access to high-quality drinking water. I really do think most people would agree with what I have said. However, Mr. Speaker, I need to point out that the efforts of my friend from Hamilton East Stony Creek may in fact be stopped in the end by his own government. With their plan to privatize our infrastructure, the Liberals may very well end up turning their backs on the most important needs of Canadians. Public health issues such as lead contamination will, no doubt, take a back seat and not be a priority for shareholders and the rich friends of this government. The government cannot refuse to take seriously the dangers of lead poisoning. Health Canada has established the maximum acceptable concentration of lead in drinking water at 10 parts per billion. In order to protect the most vulnerable populations, babies, small children. Recent scientific studies show, however, that even a minute quantity is toxic. The World Health Organization has concluded there is no known level of lead exposure that is considered safe. According to the experts at the Canadian Water Network, at least 200,000 Canadian households are at risk of being exposed to lead through their tap water. In large cities, even most of the municipal water mains are no longer composed of lead, the water service lines to private properties may contain lead and still pose a risk to their health. For example, in Montreal, the number of buildings which lead in their service lines is estimated to be higher than 60,000. In Toronto, there are estimated to be 35,000 such homes. And even in my own city of Hamilton, it's approximately 20,000 homes. Furthermore, lead can also come from the solder in plumbing or valves such as brass faucets. Small quantities of lead can therefore dissolve into the drinking water that runs through them or that sits a few hours or more. While there are household water treatment devices available that are certified to remove lead from tap water, permanently reducing exposure to lead through drinking water involves eliminating the sources of lead that affects the water. Replacing lead pipes is the most effective method. When municipal water systems are connected to old lead pipes of a private residence, cities do not assume the cost of the renovations because they are not on city property. The financial burden falls on individual homeowners and it can be a very heavy one, between $2,000 and $5,000 or even more. It all depends on where the pipe is, if it's underneath your driveway or some other concrete walkway. The cities of Ottawa, Hamilton, and London have implemented action plans to change the pipes on the public portion under the street and sidewalk and encourage residents to do the same on the private portion with the help of special loan programs. There's also additional danger to health when a new copper water pipe is connected to an old lead pipe. And there's a chemical reaction between the two metals that increases the amount of lead particles that will be released. It is critical that private water lines be replaced at the same time as the municipal infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, the member for Hamilton East Stony Creek and I have both shared some hands-on experience with this issue during our time on Hamilton City Council. The member had done great work on bringing awareness of lead in the Hamilton households and propose a solution to help owners replace lead pipes on private property by offering special loans for those needing financial help. Many residents in my riding took advantage of this program. Mr. Speaker, the NDP believes that the government must focus some assistance on the collection and analysis of statistical data related to the use of lead. Municipalities and First Nation communities must first of all be in a position to assess the scope of the problem. Most municipalities do not have a register of their water pipes, and small communities do not have the resources to put one together. Since 2007, the Government of Ontario has required day nurseries and schools to test their water quality. Such a requirement should be established for the entire country. Incentives to update infrastructure are critical. We would like the Standing Committee on Transport, Infrastructure and Communities to study loan programs established in Ottawa, Hamilton, and London to provide homeowners with financial assistance to modernize the lead service lines on their property. And I believe, Mr. Speaker, these loans should be interest-free. We would also like the Standing Committee on Transport, Infrastructure and Communities to study mechanisms for establishing a special program to modernize lead infrastructure in the context of Clean Water and Wastewater Fund of Phase 2 of the infrastructure plan. Mr. Speaker, the World Health Organization has conducted that there is no known lead level of lead exposure that is considered safe. And we know that at least 200,000 Canadians' households are at risk of being exposed to lead through their tap water. This is very dangerous, and it is also unacceptable. The government can and must do something about it. I applaud my friend from Hamilton East Stony Creek for bringing this motion forward. I sincerely hope the facts the Liberals are withdrawing $15 billion in funding they had promised for infrastructure and putting into a private bank will not destroy the next necessary actions set out in the motion and end up putting the health of thousands of Canadians at risk. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.